Hey everybody, so this is video 3. Here I'm going to show you the cement molding process. Forming. I've gone through a pile of iterations and a lot of failures. So I'll put together a few snippets of all the pieces along the way of what I was doing and how I was building this all, and hopefully you guys can see kind of the challenges I've had to making the foam, concrete, the air-crete, as well as building molds for concrete to get the concrete out. That was a huge challenge. Hope you guys enjoy it. I better show you what I did, because it's funny. I built it backwards. I actually built this thing so it goes like this, and this piece like this, like a hopper, right, for the wood. Well, the slope was the other way, so it was like this. Anyways, take it all apart and do it again. Okay, I got the one, so I'm building a mold for a hopper, a feed hopper. I got some plans, got the dimensions, and I got the one box done. I didn't bother with tapering all of these corners. All I'm going to do is sand them down and fill them with wood so it's smooth, and then I'm going to coat it all in oil. This is the inside of the mold. To make the hopper box, I'm going to have two, one outside, one inside, because obviously I don't want it solid full of foam cement, so air-crete. So yeah, this box sits inside the other box, and it'll have about a 1-inch gap all the way around it. And then when we fill it with air-crete, I get it all at the bottom and just use a little stick to vibrate it around. And yeah. So there's the first, that's the shape the hopper box will be. Well, the frame for the Firebox, the first test version of Firebox, just about ready. This is the outer box, this is the inner box, and like so. As you can see, there's a gap all the way around. Not 100% sure if there's enough taper that I can get it out easily. I might. It's something that has occurred to me that it could be, there's down the bottom where it's tapered, not going to be a problem to release. It'll just be this part. So I'm not sure what to do. Maybe I can take it apart and modify it so it can collapse. Maybe I can, maybe I can take, for example, take these off and build it so that the top part can be, like with a screwdriver, you can take it apart, and then this piece here, being on the inside the way it is, can collapse inward. You can pop it out. Then these ones can collapse in, pop it out, then the whole thing would come out. This one is one piece, so might have to do that yet. But worst case scenario, I guess I destroy it getting it out. As long as I don't destroy the mold, even if I have to let it set up for a few days. So it's really hard before I bother trying to take this off. And if I end up destroying this, it's not the end of the world. I can always build another one. This one will be fine, I'm sure. So all I got left to do is put a seal on the bottom. Get this one positioned so that it's hanging just in the right spot with the 1 inch of clearance all the way around it. I might add a couple little pieces of plywood down here, and then as I fill it, once the bottom is kind of set in and not moving, I'll pull the plywoods out and keep filling, and I'll probably on the top put a piece like this. This is attached to it, so it just rests like that. Yeah. So yeah, let's get to pouring and we'll see what that looks like. All right, it's ready to go. So I've sealed up all the holes so it's easier to come out with the mold. And I've gone and used a filler and filled all these in. So it's pretty good shape. Just a little bit of sanding, and then I'm going to give it a coat of oil. That's already had one coat of oil. And second coat of oil on both of these pieces. And then, yeah, that's it. We go to work. Make some air-crete. So, yeah, this will just position just like this. I don't even think I'm going to need the pieces down to keep it straight. I'll just position it, add the air-crete, and it should balance out. And I left this hole in the center open just so I can make sure that it's all settled in. I'm expecting that the viscosity of the air-crete will prevent it from going down and coming back up the hole. So let's see how it works. Okay, I've got a gallon of water. I've got some Portland cement. I don't know the ratios, I can't remember. Okay, I think that is that. Nice and thick, and then once we thin it with this foam, we've lost some of the foam, so I'm going to pop out a bit more. Well, we got foam. Better mix it. All right, let's see what happens. I think that's enough. I think so. I guess we're going to find out right now. Just giving this a little extra oil here. All the hard work in this mold, I don't want to lose it all. All right. Need a scoop. All right. It's pretty light stuff, I have to admit. Okay, so it might still be a little bit too light. I'll grab the camera and show you. So as you can see, the bottom is filled in nicely there, but obviously I haven't really gone up the sides at all. So I'm going to stop and let the bottom set a little bit, and then I'll keep stirring the actual mixture so it doesn't set, and then I'll come back in 5 or 10 minutes or so. Once that's started to get a little firm, then I'll add more air-crete to it. Okay, it's been 5 or 6 minutes. I stuck a piece of wood on it and put a weight to hold it down, so I'm going to continue. I've mixed this up a few times and added a little water. I was trying to set up as well. All we can do is hope it works. Well, it is what it is. I'll follow up tomorrow and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, it's the next day, and I got the inside out. As you can see, I only got a couple inches up on the side. I ran out of material, but it's actually not too bad. It's not as smooth as I'd wanted, as I was expecting. So we gotta let it sit for another couple days yet before I can try to get the outside off to get this to actually get some strength. So yeah, not too bad, I guess. I definitely did make a mistake though, in that these sides are not removable, and I should have had it that this was just screwed in so that I could disassemble from the outside and get it off easier. So I'll probably have to rebuild this cone and make it so that all the pieces come off. And it doesn't look like the oil did much. I mean, I guess it's not stuck to it, but yeah, works out not too bad, I guess. We'll let her dry and see what happens. Well, it's been 3 days and tried to get it moving. You can see it's falling apart. So looking at it, like it's got no strength whatsoever. It's been 3 days and I've worked with enough concrete to know that it should be much better than this. So I think the problem is the concrete. This stuff is in the bin here. It's been sitting for 3-4 years and it's all pebbly. So I think what happened was I tried to grind it up, but I think it's too lumpy. So I'm going to clean it up. I bought some more new concrete. I'm going to give it another try. Okay, we're ready for pour number 2. Made a few adjustments here. First, I guess, the obvious, the good big one is this is a removable panel now. So once I get this poured, the insert removed, a couple days of setting, and then this screws and comes off. These will be loose. Hopefully it's easier to pull out, because I obviously filled with the other one, but it was also very crumbly. And then with this here, I put 2 brackets on and I put a plug in the bottom because it was coming up through the bottom quite a bit. So yeah, ready to give it another shot. The other thing I did is I got new cement. So I got a new bag of Portland to mix with. So let's give it a pour and see what happens. Okay, I'm about to do the pour. I've mixed up the foam. So I've got a little bit more cement than foam, but the consistency is nice and smooth. There's no lumps. It's a little more liquidier than last time, so I should just be able to pour it from the bucket. Yeah. let's give it a shot, see what happens. Oh, fingers crossed. So there's some small gaps inside there. Now I'm just going to let it sit for a minute. As you can see, I've modified this. There's little guides to hold the brackets in place so that the inside piece can't move. And then I've added these little ropes here to hold it down because, of course, as you're displacing the volume from this side, it's getting buoyancy, so it's trying to pull up. Whereas last time I put the tool belt on at the toolbox, I didn't want to do that this time. So yeah, so I'm going to give that a couple minutes to set a little bit so that that piece can kind of get good and sealed at the bottom, and I'll keep mixing it. And I'll come back in 5 and we'll finish the pour. I don't think there's any other gaps that I need to worry about. There's small gaps, of course, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, I don't know how good you can see it, but it's looking good. Everything's staying stable. It's at about here right now. So I'm going to put the rest of it in. I added some a little bit earlier. Let it sit. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'll pour a little bit in and see how it goes. Yeah, it's starting to pour out, come out the holes down there, so I have to let it sit some more yet. Yeah, let's sit some more. Alright, it's been a couple hours. I did pour a little extra in, and it settles up quite good. Everything's looking good. A little bit leaked through the bottom because I didn't have those holes quite sealed up. So, give that a little stir. Uh-oh. Well, got a failure. Yeah, the whole pile of air-crete's coming out. There's this gap here formed when this piece, the top and the second half are kind of separating a little bit. So I will have to rig something up here. For now, we'll get back to the weight. I picked up the air-crete. I'm going to I'll attach something and I'll put a rope or a bungee or a cord on it. Maybe a little ratchet strap. I got one small enough. Maybe a ratchet around the whole thing just to keep it down. It should actually work, I think. Here's an old ratchet strap. Okay, so as you can see, I've got it about an inch and a half or so from the top here. It's looking not too bad, but got a little leak on the other side right here. Oh yeah, actually it's leaking on this side too, but it's stopped now with the ratchet strap on it. So yeah, now we got to let her set and we'll take it apart tomorrow. I'll take the inside out tomorrow and then let it sit for a few more days and take the outside off. Okay, here we go. I got the insert out. Man, really tough to get out, and I ended up breaking it. Big crack right here. But this mold is form-worked really good. However, I have to find a way to make this more removable, because obviously I don't want to crack it. Well, let's take the outside off and see how it looks. Well, I didn't film it because I didn't know how long it would take. So as you can see, it, yeah, fell apart as trying to take it out. So we're gonna have to make another cast. But I like the mold. I like the, you know, it's about an inch thick. That part turned out really good. I mean, obviously it's not strong yet, but the pieces are shaped nice. So I was thinking about it a little bit, and you know, this mold turns out good, but of course it's still sticking to it. Even if I was to solve the leaking of the edge here. So I think what I'm going to do is line it with a plastic bag. Put a plastic bag in here, then wrap a plastic bag around this, insert it in, do another pour. And the other thing is too, actually I think this will work good once we have a plastic bag, because it won't stick to it at all. Of course the plastic bag will provide the seal, or the separation. But I was able to get this out. I was a little bit worried that the edges of this were smaller or bigger or the same size as this box, which meant that it wouldn't come out easy, but it was not too bad. So let's get prepped up and make another one. Okay, we're getting ready for the next pour. So as you can see, I've got garbage bag lining everything. So the cement should displace all the air and push the bag out to the edges and in as well. And I had a little rope here that I could tighten it down. But I've moved this down to the block below, because what happened was this whole assembly came off of this assembly. This is not attached to down here because I need to be able to move it out so I can get the cement out once it's set. So I moved this bracket down, so now when I ratchet this down, it'll actually hold the whole top down as well. I've got the next piece ready to go. So this is the riser. It's 6x6. This is the center of the riser, 4x4. It sits like so. And I'm going to pour both of these at the same time. This one is set up. Now this is going to be really hard to get apart. So I'm either going to have to actually build it in just two pieces, two L's, and then glue them together with some cement, or this will work. So I don't know for sure. We're going to try. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in one of these bags. So it's going to be in a bag, slip it in. I'm going to grease this first, put the bag over, put it in, pour the cement. Once the cement sets, I'm hoping the oil around the wood with the bag on the outside gets it really slippery, and then I'm able to pull it out. So I'm going to drill a small hole in the bottom for air to get back in, because obviously it'll create a vacuum of suction. It'll be so tight on there. Having the ability for air to get in there will help. I might even be able to put another hole in the top here and then use compressed air to push and blow air into here, which will come out the bottom, and we'll push this assembly out. And we'll test that once I do the pour. So just wanted to show you all this before I get the pour started. Alright, I'm ready to do the pour, and I wanted to show everybody what I've got so far. So I've got the burn chamber like I showed earlier with the garbage bags lining this area here. This is all held in place, and I just got to put the straps to hold it down right here. This is new, so this is a cylindrical chamber. So I am not 100% sure how good it's going to seal at the bottom. There is some slight air gaps I can see, but I don't know. So we're going to go ahead and test this one. And so the outside here is about a 6-inch, and the inside is a 4-inch. And the 6-inch, of course, I can just take apart from the outside once it's set. And the inside, the 4-inch, what I actually did was I've got, or 3.5 inches, I have 3.5-inch discs set down inside this tube. Each one has a string attached to it. And so my idea here is this one's a little bit larger than the rest. I've put a couple wraps of tape around it. So a little bit bigger gap. So once it's set, I take this off, pop the top disc out, take the next string, pop the next disc out, and they're set. The discs down below are all at the side, so they'll turn and then go up sideways. And then the last one, of course, I can either take it off and flip it over and take it from the bottom, or pull the last string and pop it from the top. So yeah, well, I'm just going to start adding foam to it, or air-crete, and see how it goes. If there's not lots of leakage, I'll keep going. And the third one, which you guys have seen already, is the square chamber, square burn riser. This is a cylindrical riser, and this is a square riser. So this is all done. I've just got to put a ratchet strap over top of it to strap it all down. So I'm going to put the straps on and mix some air-crete and get filling. So I had this bucket about half full of concrete before I added foam. As you can see, it's looking not bad, but a lot of effort to get it mixed. But yeah, that's looking good. Starting to really, yeah, it's all uniform. I'm trying to get it mixed straight to the bottom. Of course, it doesn't want to mix with foam because the foam is a lot lighter density, like nothing compared to concrete, which is a lot higher than water. And of course, so I started with a half a bucket of water and added concrete, and I had too much. So I have a bucket of concrete. Okay, let's get you a little zoom in here for this. Get the flashlight in there. So yeah, I'm going to pour up to about 3/4 of the way up. Okay. Let's do a little summary, I guess, of the concrete pouring. So this one here, I expected some trouble, and yeah, I had trouble keeping the seams tight. Of course, I want to make it so it's removable later, so I can take the tube out. Grab the flashlight and show you. But you can see we are right there. So that's what, 3/4. So that would be an 16-inch fire tube. The square one, as you can see, is right close to the top. It poured just beautifully. You can see a little water squeezing out. But I think some of the bag itself was kind of into the concrete instead of staying close to the inside the piece there. So in this one, of course, it poured really well, considering how much trouble I've had in the past with this setup. But I suspect there'll be pieces of plastic kind of embedded in the concrete as well. But there's really not much I can do about that. It's the only way I can make it so that the piece comes out. So let these sit, and tomorrow I'll pull all the molds off and I'll video that. But if it doesn't work the last time for this one, pretty much gonna have to change to being like building panels of concrete and then like welding them with concrete with a little bit of mortar back together again to make what I want instead of trying to single mold, because single mold's really tough to do. So it's a lot of work. Cross our fingers for tomorrow. Okay, so these molds have been sitting for 2 days straight, and gonna record me trying to remove them. Well, there it is. It's one piece. You know what? Let's get you a close-up of that. So yeah, it's in one piece. There's no issues there. A little extra light. So yeah, this is from the folds in the bag getting into the edges. I didn't have it tucked tight against the body of the frame. So, and didn't get very much cement right here. So I'm going to end up trimming all of this off short anyways, but still this would have been nice to be perfect. I'll have to remember for next time, wrap the bag around this block, and then get rid of any extra folds so they're not sticking out because they went and got into the cement. But you know what? That's going to work for a test. Okay, I'm going to get these other molds off, and I'll give you a little update how it went. Okay, got them all done. And yeah, failure again. So looking at it, it looks like the pieces of plastic got in. And of course this isn't very thick, but right here you can see there's less material because the plastic right in there is getting between, so there's really only like not even a 1/4 inch. There's a few other spots, the same thing, and it caused, it's funny because it seemed to be coming out perfect, all one piece, didn't see any cracks. Getting it out of the outside box was obviously really easy. Just loosened off those sides and then grabbed it and just pulled, and it just came, but then it was in pieces. So it must have cracked when taking the inside out. So for this one here, I'm going to switch my whole plan. What I'll do is I'm going to pour the cone part on the bottom separate and the upper piece separate. I'll make separate molds, and then we'll glue them together with cement after. And it'll be so much easier. So here we've got the square burn chamber, and it turned out really good. You can see we got some plastic stuck in there. Now that's all the way through from the inside to the outside. So that's going to be a problem, but as long as it's the same burn chamber, I guess, I think I'm just going to go with it. I don't want to try to remold this one. Or maybe I will, I don't know. There's some funny lamination, or you know, of the mix, because this was all one pour, but it's funny how it's separated like that. It's as if some water separated out, or some inconsistency in the mixture. So I think next time I do a mix, I'm going to use the cement mixer and have it running constantly instead of me trying to do it by hand with the mixer there. And yeah, it looks not too bad inside. Let's get a flashlight. You guys hopefully can see that. There's bits of plastic still stuck in there, but yeah, it looks not bad. Came out actually really well. With the inside one, I just had to take, there's the mold, and of course it was wrapped in a plastic bag. So I just literally took 2 pry bars, one on each side, and just injected some air. And then as I lifted and injected air, then I just put 2 pry bars and just like that, and just. Yeah. So, and the best one, of course, the round one, because both pieces were able to be removed. It turned out really well as well, like really good. Bit of a chunk missing there, but if you can see inside, it's perfect. That metal work is a great mold. So this one I don't have a bottom for, so my plan, if I use this one, will be to actually just take a flat piece and just glue it on. So yeah, so next step, I guess, is try remolding this one into 2 separate pieces. So it's been a few days. These have been sitting here curing, and yeah, this one developed its own crack right there. I'm not exactly sure why. I think maybe it dried out instead of setting. So I'm gonna, well, I might just use it anyways. It's still intact. We'll see. But I've been gone for a few days, and then while I was driving, I came to the decision that I'm going to do another pour, but I'm not going to bother. I'm going to do the bottom cone there, but I'm just going to pour flat pieces, and then one day of setting, I'll mix a tiny batch of just the concrete mix up, and I'll glue them all together. No more of this trying to do these massive pours. Okay, I'm ready to pour. Let's take a look at what we're going to do here. So we got the flat pieces all laid out here, 4 of them, and I'll probably have to do another pour of that. Got the box made. I'm just going to add a thing to hold these down. They're screwed down, so they're good. Got the cone put together, and it's going to sit like that. Made this one a lot bigger. I wanted to have more height for sticks, longer sticks to go in. And then the lid will just be, for now, a piece of plywood. The other change, I'm going to use my cement mixer, because I'll tell you, it's mixing it by hand's a pain in the butt. So yeah, mixing cement in my garage. Guess we'll see how it goes. That's a lot of concrete. All right, so here we are. Yeah, well, it's consistent and it's bubbly. It's pretty thick. Like, I don't know how thin or thick it needs to be, but I think I'm gonna give it a try. Well, I got a little hole in the bottom of the down here, so I patched it up with a piece of wood. Hopefully it'll hold it. It's going okay so far though. Alright, now I'll do these flat ones. Cross my fingers. And I'm going to shut off the camera so I can do some cleanup. Okay, it's been 2 days. It's been sitting here. I've covered it with plastic for 2 days. Almost 2 days. I got the molds off. So, really nice. I think one of the only problems I'm going to have is I think this is too light. So like this piece here will float in water, no doubt about it. And I never intended it to be that light of a density. What I think happened was when I mixed it, I used the cement mixer, and I used about the same ratio of foam to cement. But I think the cement mixer, the agitation kept building more bubbles. So end up making more volume of bubbles. So those are the 4 blanks. I'm going to use that to build a chimney, the riser. Sorry, the horizontal piece. The riser for that one's going to be the round. So this one here is exactly, so this is 3.5 inches in diameter. Turns out to be 9 pi r squared. Anyways, the area. This turns out 3.1 inches is the, for the square to be the same amount of area as this. So these are exactly, each of them are 3.1 plus 1.25 inches. So when I make this into the horizontal chamber, I'll put each one like this. So that's the width of the chamber and height of the chamber for the horizontal piece. Yeah, definitely like this one better as far as the density goes. So of the feed box, I don't know how strong these are yet, but it turned out okay. As you can see the bubbling, and there's really big bubbles compared to like this piece, which is small bubbles. And here is the fire chamber. Now this was the first one I poured, and massive bubbling. Like this is so light. I bet you this weighs maybe 2 pounds. So I think it's going to fall apart on me. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give this a coating of cement on the inside and outside so that it quits, because it's just crumbling off. To try to get it to have some outer structure, a little bit of strength. And then we're going to start building. These are going to sit for another few days covered with plastic, because I got to make sure that they don't dry, they actually cure. Yeah, oh, just in case you can see, so this goes like so on there. And of course upside down. They'll be glued together. And then there'll be a bit of a horizontal, and then the fire chamber here sits like this. So yeah, that's it. That's how she's going to be. Wood goes there. There's a hole that goes this way. Comes up here. And for the testing, for the test unit, I've got a metal garbage can. I'm going to flip it upside down. I'm going to take a piece of plate, put it on top, put the temperature element in it, feed it through the top of the garbage can over top, cut it so it fits the seal there, and then I'm going to take a piece of plywood and bolt it to a pallet so I can use my tractor to pick it up and move it outside and do testing, do all my test runs. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to get working on, I'll mix a bit just to do the sealing. I'll wrap this back up, let it sit for a few more days to cure.